My dear friend, if you thought you knew the level of corruption and ineptitude and stupidity of one LA Mayor Karen Bass, you don't know anything. You don't know anything. In a reported story today, one of the best ever by New York Post. I mean, it really lays it out. It details the following, and I will remind you of this to give you a peroration, kind of an adumbration or review of what was said. LA Mayor Karen Bass, Bastard, I think in French. When she came into office, she assumed this nonsense about trying to champion DEI. You know what that crap is. Dementia, effervescence, and insanity or something. And she vowed to address homelessness and environmental issues. Of course, you know that's going to happen. But now she's accused of contributing to a systemic level of corruption within the city referred to as legalized corruption, among more scandals than you could ever imagine. And recently, these have come to awareness and come to the fore, so to speak, as of late. And this intensified, incredible focus reveals not only that she's just an idiot, but that she might be one of the most corrupt overseers of one of the most corrupt administrations ever. Don't forget, she cut and defunded the fire department by $17 million, which, of course, many people saying are responsible for leaving the city ill-prepared to combat, guess what? Fires! It makes sense. Don't forget in 2022, they gave fire trucks and turnout gear and others hoses to Ukraine. Don't get me started. Now, among the controversies, get ready for this, are accusations involving top officials and questionable decisions. And you're going to love this one. We'll just go through this. First, you've got, for example, one of them who's under a deputy. Let me go back. Yes, you got a deputy mayor who's under FBI investigation. For what? It's a good question. For allegedly making a bomb threat? Oh, yeah. Against City Hall. She endorsed a former councilor implicated in hush money payments, and her administration awarded a $750,000 salary, double the amount of a predecessor, to Janisse Quinones, the new CEO of the Department of Water and Power, DWP. This is a position, of course, criticized by anybody with two neurons and an active synapse for inefficiency. Now, as to fires that rage, she's responsible. And the scandal also extends to allegations of embezzlement, perjury, racketeering, bribery, you name it. I mean, these are gangsters among the city council members, raising questions that you can imagine about how this crook is even involved in this in the first place. Now, critics, and there are many of them, argue that corruption is so deep, so entrenched, so ingrained in Los Angeles politics. For example, Jamie Court is the president of Consumer Watchdog. And Jamie Court likened the situation to the plot of the classic film Chinatown, which depicted corruption in the city's water management. The DWP now is this huge bureaucracy under a mayoral and city council control that boggles the mind. And it continues to generate billions from ratepayers facing now allegations of poor accountability. And this lack of oversight reportedly contributed to infrastructure failures during the wildfire. Wildfires, what am I saying? It's not singular, it's multiple. Broken hydrants, failed systems in neighborhoods like Malibu and Pacific Palisades and the like. Janisse Quinones, appointed by Bass in 2023, has drawn, crazy criticism for her performance at the DWP, particularly during the Palisades fire. Remember where she comes from PG&E. Remember that one? PG&E, Pacific Gas and Electric. Remember that one? Remember how that led to wildfires as well? I mean, you can't make this up. And despite the promises that she made to address infrastructure problems, her questionable tenure has been marked by accusations of grave, gross negligence, including hydrants against running dry at critical moments, like during fire. And her lack of leadership, Quinones, coincides also with a broader lawsuit from Consumer Watchdog and the LA Times, aiming to unseal documents exposing, get this, alleged extortion schemes involving the DWP and the Los Angeles City Attorney's Office. Oh, it gets better. It gets better. The fallout, the shadow, the stench of the scandal also falls on Deputy Mayor Brian Williams. Not the NBC dude, but might as well be. Now, she was chosen by Bass to oversee critical departments like police and fire. Williams became embroiled in controversy after being, get ready, after being identified as the likely source of a bomb threat against City Hall. Now, although the FBI raided his home, he maintains his innocence. I don't know what you're talking about. And he's not been charged as of yet. Now, additionally, Councilman Curran Price Jr. faces charges of embezzlement and perjury. And he's accused, of accepting over $150,000 in bribes and improperly funding medical benefits for his girlfriend while still married. Oh, yeah, this sounds like Eric Adams stuff. Sound familiar? I'll leave it at that. Now, further exacerbating the issues is the case of former Councilman Jose Huizar, Huizar, who pleaded guilty to racketeering and tax evasion, of course, and veteran politician Mark Ridley Thomas, beware the hyphenated name, who was sentenced to federal prison for bribery related to funneling funds to his son through the University of Southern California. Now, Bass herself was linked to USC through a scholarship provided by then-Dean Marilyn Flynn, get this, who was later convicted in the Ridley Thomas case. And although prosecutors clarified Bass was not implicated in a wrongdoing, her later sponsorship of federal funding expansions for private universities like USC raises ethical questions. Oh, you want more? She's also facing considerable concern and backlash for her absence, you know this one, during the critical moments. She attended the inauguration of Ghana's president, we don't know why, earlier this year while wildfires roared and raged in LA. And this drew, of course, criticism for her prioritizing international travel and engagements over local crises. And by the way, she said she wouldn't be doing that. Remember, she says, I'm not going to be going anywhere. I'm just going to go to Sacramento, New York maybe, and LA. That's it. Well, she lied about that. Her attendance at a cocktail party during the trip further fueled public disapproval. Now, critics, again, are asking her continued deflection of questions regarding her Africa trip. She wouldn't even answer the question. And there's this pay-to-play culture, which they say is legalized corruption. And this is from Susan Shelley of the Southern California News Group. It's claimed that this remains pervasive. Los Angeles politicians routinely solicit, quote, behested payments, donations from individuals and companies with business before the city. And these practices have funneled millions into funds like the Mayor's Fund for Los Angeles, of course, raising, some questions and some suspicion about what the hell is going on here. Are these payments, is this extortion under the guise of legal frameworks? And they keep saying this undermines public trust. There is no public trust. Her role continues to face incredible scrutiny and objection, with a lot of people pointing to her connections with controversial figures and her administration's role in continuing to worsen and exacerbate and exaggerate systemic issues. Whether the allegations are about financial impropriety or whatever, it just goes to show you a very simple fact. She sucks. She's incompetent. She's corrupt. The whole place is corrupt. When you get a bunch of these folks in there, and when DEI is in any way even hinted at, referenced, mumbled, you know there's going to be corruption, cronyism, and the placement of the most incompetent people who were there for reasons, and I'll leave it at that have nothing to do with competence, but rather demographic, okay? And check mark quota factors. I'll leave it at that. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You know what else is worse than this? You're not going to believe this. I found out recently that 87% of the people who watch me, and watch these videos that I do where I pour my heart out, that people aren't subscribed to this channel. 87%. We're going to fix that, my friend. So please watch, enjoy, listen, participate, comment, all of that, but subscribe. Subscribe, and every time you like this video, we go into the HOV lane of acceptance. So, my friends, I thank you, and I ask you right now, I beseech, entreat, ask, request that you comment as you see fit.